Feel like your amazing music classroom is flying under the radar? Do you wish that more people understood the incredible impact you have on your students? You're not alone in wanting more support and understanding. This week on The Happy Music Teacher, we are tackling music advocacy with a fresh perspective. Here are some quick music advocacy ideas that fit into your busy schedule and deliver real results.
It's the Happy Music Teacher!
Are you an elementary music teacher who's frustrated and overwhelmed? I'm Jeanette Mahalchik, a happy music teacher who loves teaching every day, but it wasn't long ago I was in your shoes. Join me Wednesdays to help you find happy in your music classroom. So here's the deal. Nobody in the school, nobody outside the school, nobody knows what is happening in your class. They just don't. They may have been musicians. They may have been in the chorus. They may have been in the band. They may kind of get it, but they really don't understand what you are doing. They don't understand all the amazing things that are happening in your classroom unless you tell them, unless you show them, and telling them is not going to work as well as showing them. So today we are going to talk about 5 ways that you can advocate for your music program quickly and easily. So why is this important? Because again, as I said, nobody understands what's going on in your classroom. And you know what? Here's the problem. Because they don't understand, they think we're singing and dancing and having a good time in there. And that's all they think is happening. And yes, we are singing and dancing and having a good time. But guess what? We're also learning. We're teaching our students how to learn and grow, not only as musicians, but as people. So the problem is that when nobody understands your world, they don't get it. They don't know your struggles. They don't know what you do day to day. And since they don't know what you do day to day, not only are they not going to understand what the students are learning, but they're also not going to understand how busy your job is. I mean, I had a teacher one time, a 4th grade teacher, who she was having a bad day. And I feel like I've told this before, but maybe you didn't hear it. She was like, I wish I was in my classroom singing and dancing all day long. And I was like, wow. And I thought to myself, she was like somebody that I kind of considered a friend. And, I mean, it happens. They just don't get it. They don't understand what's going on. So let's talk about those 5 ways, because it's so important to show them what you're doing and how you're doing it. Number 1, you want your parents to understand what is going on in the classroom. So I love a good informance, and people handle informances differently. It does not have to be a performance. It does not have to be a situation where the students are showing off like they're polished things. In my mind, an informance is parents are going to come in and you are going to conduct your class just like normal. The only difference is you're going to have an audience. And so what I mean by that is you are literally going to invite your students into the classroom the same way you would. You're going to conduct your entire lesson. You want to decide if you want the parents to participate or if you want the parents to sit and watch. It's totally up to you. I love it when parents participate because it really gives them even a better perspective of what's going on when they are doing the learning too. So just like normal, do not make it a hard thing for yourself. An informants should be, they're going to come in and they are going to experience your class just like their students do. So that is an informants. And I love to invite the classroom teachers in, or a lot of times what I'll do is I'll record every class and then I'll send that recording to the classroom teachers so they can send it out to the parents so that the parents have an idea of what happened in there. And literally, I record it on my phone. I sit it off to the side as I'm greeting the next class and saying goodbye to that class. I am emailing that teacher. So bing, bang, boom, it's done. I don't have to remember it later. So that's up to you, but it's just one way that teachers can see what's going on in your classroom. Now, what kinds of activities would you want to do for an informants? I like to do something that maybe pulls in some math skills or pulls in some science skills or pulls in some reading skills. And if you don't have a lesson that pulls in those reading skills, the happymusicteacher.com/lesson plan sampler, you will get 2 storybook lessons that are going to help you. One is for primary and the other is for more intermediate students. And those are great activities that you can use for an informants. Number 2, the strategic classroom. I like to invite the teachers from my school and also the admin from my school into my classroom when I have something really super cool going on. You know how you'll do those lessons where you've got like a whole maybe series of lessons going on that culminate in a performance? I like to invite the teachers and the admin in to see that performance. And not only do I invite them in, but I also have kind of a guideline on the board that just shows the progression of what we've done and how we've done it. And if it is a lesson that has a tie-in of some sort to something else going on in the school, art or PE or science or social studies or literacy, whatever it happens to be, even better. So you want to invite those teachers strategically into your classroom at times when it's a super cool thing for them to see. If they can't come in or they don't want to take the time, again, record every class and send them on out of there. Number 3, project partnerships. So a project partnership is where my students are doing a project. My students all had Chromebooks and they would use a Google Sheet or a Google Form or a Google Doc, and I would share that right with the classroom teacher. First of all, that helped so that students understood that their classroom teacher was going to be looking at their projects and kind of following along. So it gave them kind of that sense of, okay, this is something that counts. And because we know that happens, that they're like, oh, that doesn't really count because it's music. But so that is one of the things that's good about it. The second thing is the teacher is going to see the progression. They're going to see what the students are doing. They're going to see those tie-ins, those connections that you have with their subject matter. And all of that is a really good thing. Number 4, community connection. It is so important to get out into the community to run a drum circle or teach a ukulele lesson or, and I'm not talking about your kids performing. That is something that happens. I'm talking about when there is a special event night, which, in my schools, we always had like arts night and literacy night and that kind of thing. And I would volunteer to do one of my literacy lessons and we would have the community come in and, they would get to see what was going on in the classroom. So community connection is a really important thing. And number 5, I recommend that you share with your admin all of the little things that go into what you're doing. So for example, if you are planning a performance, it's super easy to, you've got your planning sheet anyway, right? Why not share it with your admin? I'm contacting the parents. I'm ordering the t-shirts. I'm collecting the money for the t-shirts. I am, rehearsing my choir. I am spending this many hours at home finding the music. All of the things that you do, if you write them down, and I know that one does take a little bit of extra time, but if you write them down and, just give them to your admin and be like, hey, I thought you'd really like to see what goes into what I'm doing in planning for this choir concert or this, whatever it happens to be, and do it in a positive way. And, be like, oh, I thought you might be interested in this. This is pretty cool, isn't it? And share your planning sheet with them, that sort of thing. So it's really, and not just the planning sheet, but how long did it take you to do that part? You know what I'm saying? And you can kind of give a rough estimate. And again, that one takes a little bit longer than the other ones. But I think if you share that with administrators, that is really going to make a difference. Let's go back and do a quick review. So we have informances where the parents come in and they just literally observe your class. They may participate in it. They may observe it. It's not a special concert. It's not polished. You're going to tell them that when you invite them. This is not a chance for you to see a polished performance. This is a chance for you to literally come in and see what your student is doing inside my classroom. The strategic classroom, where you strategically invite people into your classroom, your colleagues, the classroom teachers, the administrators, and show off what you are doing, especially when you're making connections outside of the music classroom. Project partnerships. You are inviting your classroom teachers to be a part of the projects that your students are doing. Community connections, so important to invite the community in, not just for your concerts, but also for any time you're doing an arts night or a literacy night or a math night. Invite the community in to see what connections music makes to all of those subjects. If you're not sure what connections they make, then let me help. Jeanette at thehappymusicteacher.com or thehappymusicteacher.com/ask me anything and I can help. And number 5, share your planning page with your admin and show them all the steps that go into what you're doing and how long that takes.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com.
Well, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I want to remind you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being fabulous you.